Okay, so this is the first episode of what will be called Fighting for the Punchline, which is a show I will develop about basically the writing process for comedy, I guess, which I am no expert on the subject, but it's more about the development from an idea in your head to basically the finished product, or maybe in my case, when I would be ready to say a joke on stage or in stand-up. I've been doing stand-up for a few months now, not regularly, but I've done it a few times, and it really is, some people are very good at improvising, but you really kind of have to know where you're going, and I mean, this is kind of obvious, but something I've learned that I thought I could just like improv kind of just ideas and see how they worked out, but that's really hit and miss, that kind of strategy. And really when you develop something and you kind of know where you're going, and plus it's a lot more refined and it is an art form, and this is just part of the writing process. And in the future I hope to have more, maybe even interviews with people who are also doing comedy, and maybe eventually I'll get famous people and people who I admire. Who knows? This is like all fantasy type, wishing type stuff, but right now this is just the first episode, and maybe I'm going to have an intro in the future, but right now I'm just going to open up by saying the show is called Fighting for the Punchline, and basically just how we struggle through finding the joke, I guess. Like, we know what the idea for a joke is when we think of it, but maybe like getting there maybe is not always as simple. I mean, a lot of trial and error kind of thing. So what I'm going to do for this first episode is this will be kind of the format of the episode, where I will state a premise of something that I thought was funny, or something that I think might be a good joke to say on stage, or just a good joke in general, and I'm going to develop it on camera, and any prolonged edits of just silence will be edited out of the footage that I use in the video, and I'll put a timestamp on how much time has elapsed, so that way people actually know how long it takes to develop something, even if it's a small idea or a big idea. Because sometimes I've worked on jokes for many minutes obviously, but sometimes hours, just for maybe not even that long of a bit kind of thing. So I mean, it does take time, so you can't just I'm going to figure this out real quick. So maybe some people can do that, but I'm not one of those people. So yeah, let's start. So the other day I was with a friend of mine, and we were watching a show, and he is, I guess you could call him an ass man, because he prefers, I guess when it comes to breasts or butts, he prefers the butts on girls. And he looked at some girl that we were watching on some show, and she was like, "Oh, that ass is out of control," which is something that he doesn't even say that, but he just said that to be funny, but also just because he was commenting. Well, we're always drunk when we do this kind of stuff, but anyway, he commented on it, and then I was trying to think of something to say off the cuff, kind of, how do I say this? I was trying to think of something off the cuff to say about his remark, but I was trying to make a joke out of what he said, but what he said was already a joke, but I was trying to make it more of a joke. So let's start with the premise of that ass is out of control, or just, it's a big butt, I guess, is the premise of the joke. And so at the time I was thinking, I really wanted to I like jokes that personify non-animate objects. So I was thinking about, if the pants on a person is one person and the ass is another person, then there's some kind of struggle there when you have a big ass, because they're stretching the fabric and they're pushing against, and you can tell when someone's wearing jeans that are too tight for them, or maybe it's intentional or not, camel toe and all that kind of other stuff. Or even a small shirt on a fat guy, I understand that. But it's, but personifying that I think would be funny. So I was trying to think of, so basically, the pants and the ass are in some kind of struggle. So then I was trying to associate things that are, when you think about struggle, like oppression, I guess fighting, competition, rivalry, stuff like that. At the time I think I was saying, I think I said something like, those pants must be oppressed, or something like that. It was something stupid. It didn't make sense, and he was like, what? And it is one of those off the cuff things, jokes that just don't work. And so I'm going to try to see if I can refine this a little more. Maybe they're fighting, maybe rival competition, there's politics, that doesn't really make sense. Pants oppressed, ass. Maybe try to even think of a pun with ass in it, or maybe butt. That's another thing. Funny thing might be to say those, I don't even know if it's funny, but like stretch marks on a woman are like, I guess, unsightly or not attractive generally, just by society. You know, people can say like, oh, any kind of disfigurement is like a bad thing on a person, and stretch marks maybe on a pregnant woman would be a bad thing, or even just on any person. So it's just like the general joke. I think it's kind of funny if I just say like, if I say even those pants have stretch marks, but like I guess pants can have stretch marks, but I'm not sure. Maybe that's so obscure. Maybe I don't even know if pants do have stretch marks, can have stretch marks, but that might be one little jewel for now. That though even those pants have stretch marks can be like a final joke I could say on stage, maybe even personify. Maybe that's too. Maybe I'm just fighting for something that's maybe not working. Let's see. Personifying things, maybe just even in general, what is there some kind of struggle in the universe, or some kind of battle or combat between things that can be. Exaggeration is also a good, I mean, I would think exaggeration is a good tool to use in comedy, because if someone says like, I'm starving, that's not true, but you know, it's just for emphasis, and in comedy that to make it even funnier, I think. So anything that can be maybe some kind of astronomical battle, like bigger than life, godlike battle between the pants and the pants and the ass. But shit, fight. What kind of fights are astronomical? Ragnarok, fight between good and evil, God versus the devil. So many biblical, religious type conflicts. Maybe if I'm going to relate it to the universe, the fact that people say the universe is always expanding, you can maybe relate the ass to the universe. And in the way kind of like Men in Black was saying that the universe is inside like a marble. Maybe the entire universe is in this girl's ass. And how exactly would I phrase that? Is if I say like she could use her ass as a metaphor for the universe because it's expanding or something like that. It's kind of stupid actually, but yeah, I gotta close this door. Okay, interruptions, whatever it happens. Might break your train of thought. What do I have? Something about maybe if I sit from a first person perspective, it's usually funnier too. Or just a good way to like disguise a joke is saying it happened to you. So if I say like, oh, I knew that girl. She used her ass as a diorama for the universe, or I want to take anecdotes. Always expanding. Yeah, that was me. Farts are funny, right? Let's see. She used her pants as a model of the universe, as they're always expanding. That's a little more refined. I could also even just use it as a fat joke, but it's just a big ass joke, I guess. Let's see. So I really want to have one that has both the ass and the pants. I still want to stick to the original one, hopefully. Maybe like something exaggeration as well as the whole Sunni Shiite thing, or Israelis in Palestine, that kind of stuff. Arabs and Jews kind of thing. Maybe another metaphor. I mean, the whole thing is a metaphor, but better not to say that it's a metaphor in the joke, because then it's too redundant and it's just a waste. Jews versus Arabs? I don't know shit about the Middle East. And if I were going to try to be more PC, I'd probably say Israelis instead of Jews, but I don't know, watching a lot of comedy, it seems like Jews is always just like a buzzword and it's just funny to say. Like Jews, juice. Would you like some juice? So stupid. But you can't deny. Anyway, let's see. Because like Arabs, it's not as funny as Arabs, but I mean, they're both whatever. I mean, Arabs isn't even an offensive term, but I guess Arab can be. Just, it's the same. I don't know. But I have to figure out why exactly. Maybe it's just the way they say it. It's just the sound of it. Phonetic joke, I guess. Let's see, Jews versus Arabs. What about it? Never get along, will never work out, doesn't fit. If I use the doesn't fit thing, the ass doesn't fit into the pants, so I just do a metaphor for like it doesn't fit. Some things will never get along. Some things will never get along. That could be funnier, but I don't know. The rhythm doesn't even sound right. That ass in those pants remind me of the Jews in Palestine. Reminds me of the Jews and Arabs. Some things will never get along. That's not even that funny. Not as funny as I think it could be. Maybe seams. Some things that stop stretching at the seams because the pants are being stretched, so the seams on the jeans. Seams. Splitting seams. I'll just put that Arab joke for now. Let's see. That's not even that funny, but whatever. Let's just write it down. Some things will find peace. Oppressed. Jews. Seams. Maybe instead of like saying that, personifying them as like saying he or she, like as this feels that and this feels that. Maybe if I quantify it as what I'm more just saying is like, there's a relationship between the ass and the pants. So if I use that relationship as, let's just say any kind of relationship, like a friendship, or let's just say like a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, then that relationship would be abusive. So maybe if I said, if those ass and pants were in a relationship, I'm sure it'd be an abusive one. Still, it's too much explaining. I should just get to the relationship and abuse sooner. And just, as long as I know I'm talking about the ass and pants, but how do I say ass and pants without... Like you said, if her ass and pants were in a relationship, I'm sure it'd be an abusive one. Or maybe her ass and pants remind me of a past relationship. It was an abusive one. Nah, that might be the best I can get for now. And in that also you could think of it just like, if I'm an asshole, or just an ass jackass, I could be the ass in that relationship. So that maybe that is even better in that metaphor or that example. Anyway, okay, so the final tally I think I have so far is 4 things I guess off of this one, the big ass or the ass is out of control premise. I have, even those pants have stretch marks. I have, that ass could be used as a model of the universe since it's always expanding, in which I refined it to, I knew that girl in science class, she used her pants as a model of the universe because it's always expanding. Okay? And there's also, that ass in those jeans reminds me of the Jews and Arabs. Some things will never get along. That's the 3rd one. And the 4th one was, her ass and pants remind me of a past relationship. It was abusive. So, that's all I got for our first episode, my first episode. In the future, maybe I'll have an intro to refine kind of what I've been talking about. And that is basically the general format of this thing. And hopefully in the future, like I said, I will be able to have interviews with other people who do this thing. And maybe we can even work things out together. That's what I was hoping for. Just kind of see other people's processes and how they, I guess, riff or how they come up with stuff, that kind of thing. I would hope. I was actually thinking of this show as an interview show, but since I don't really know anybody doing comedy, then it's not really an option at the moment. So hopefully in the future that's where it'll go. So anyway, that's all for now. Bye. See ya. Which one's funny? I don't care.